This is the Lula Legacy in a style number 9952. This one was made in 1995 in the USA, and this was made in December. I got this as a project with no strap, and as you can see, it's dry, but it does have its hang tag, and I want to give it a bit of a refresh and show you how I do that in this video. So I first start off with a vacuum and just make sure to vacuum every single side and crevice of the inside of the bag, and I inspect the bag further to see what it needs. And sometimes the bags have a bit of pilling or this kind of hairy look on the inside, and I like to get that out with a fabric shaver. So I'm just using that here to get all the little sections of the bag and make sure that all the little hairs and pilling parts are taken care of. Then I go in with this suede brush. This is the brush I use, and I have it linked on my Amazon storefront. It's really nice for the inside of the bag, especially because they're not lined, to just get off all that dust and debris that's been caked in there over the years. And I use the harsher, more bristly metal side of the brush to go through and really just thoroughly brush the inside of the bag to get all of that out there. And sometimes the brushing will make more pills and more have those hairs kind of come up, and so I go over again with my fabric shaver just to make sure the inside is nice and smooth. It's really important to do the inside of these vintage bags because they have been so well loved and used by probably many people, and you just never know what's been hiding inside the crevices and cracks of the bag after all those years. So definitely want to go in and make sure it is nice and clean, and I like to clean as I go because all the little shavings and crumbs that come out after the bag is moisturized can get stuck onto the bag with the moisturizer and the conditioner. So I always vacuum as I go and clean my area so that it is nice and clean. Then I use this Angela suede cleaner in this foam pump that I have and just pump it in and work it into the suede with my horsehair brush. You don't need to use a horsehair brush for this. You can use a microfiber cloth or a towel or anything just to work that product into the leather and get that cleaner in there. I still have yet to try other products because I want to use this one up first, but I am thinking maybe for the next one I should use some of the other ones that have been recommended to me to just kind of compare. But I think I'm someone who finds something that I like and sticks with it, but I'll definitely try to use different products going forward for the inside as well. Then I use this thread zapper, and you can use a lighter for this as well, but I just like how the thread zapper is really precise, and I'm not super well versed with a lighter, so I don't want to burn the leather. So I use this just to do that detail work, get in and get all those threads nice and zapped. And you want to be really careful here to melt the threads down into itself rather than cutting the thread. Once I use a thread zapper and I actually ended up cutting the thread and it made a seam rip, and that's not fun. So make sure you're careful there. Then I use Lexol 1 mixed with distilled water, and I use a horsehair brush to lather that onto the bag one little section at a time. And I work that into the leather. And as you can see here, it's not soaking up that water mixture instantly. So you know that it's not too dry. So I know that from that, I don't need to do too many rounds of conditioner because it is kind of sitting on top of that leather, meaning that the leather is already kind of hydrated, but you can see it is soaking in a little bit. So I go in with the microfiber cloth and wipe as I go. And this is just a great way to clean the outside of the leather and also just do a little bit of a test to see how conditioned it needs to be. I find this part really soothing to watch in other videos, so I didn't fast forward it so that you can just enjoy the ASMR part of the video. Feel free to skip ahead to the next section if you don't want to watch this entire process. I've said this in previous videos, but I always find this process of giving bags little spa days and taking care of them and bringing them back to just a little bit of a refresh state so satisfying. It's so fun to do, and it's a lot easier than it looks. So I highly recommend you try it out for yourself if you have leather bags or anything leather that you want to try to give a little life to. People always kind of ask me like, how'd you get started in this? And you're a professional. And I'm like, I'm definitely not professional. I just started this a bit under a year ago, and I just wanted to try it for myself. I've loved watching videos like this, so I just wanted to try it. So I bought the equipment and I got a bag and I started to do it myself, and it was probably one of the most satisfying things I've done in a long time. And so I always highly recommend that you try it. It really isn't that hard once you get the hang of it. And really at the end of the day, like, you're not going to ruin anything just by trying to clean it a little bit if you follow the necessary steps. So I always want to encourage anyone watching to try this for themselves because it is very relaxing and soothing. But I will say it does take a lot of time. This one wasn't a huge project, so I think it probably took maybe a couple hours total with the waiting in between and to buff everything out. But like I said earlier, I think it only needed maybe one round of conditioning, if I'm remembering correctly. So it really wasn't that tedious. But some bags out there need a lot more love, a lot more care, a little extra clean. So it really depends on the bag that you have for sure. But I think it's all kind of trial and error. And at the end of the day, you are just working on your own thing and you're not going to mess it up. Don't worry. So I highly recommend that you try it out. I think that it's just the whole process of like giving something new life and refreshing it is just so rewarding. So I always like to just say and try to encourage people because it is a lot of fun, even though sometimes it can get tiring. Like I haven't worked on a bag in probably a few months now. This I filmed a while ago and I've been wearing this bag ever since because I just kind of got tired of it. I had other things in life come up, so it has kind of been on the back burner, but I do have a very large pile of project bags that I need to get to. So more videos will definitely be coming soon. But yeah, I'm just kind of on the hunt for the perfect bags for me. And I love that I can help other people find the bags that they need or that they want in the process. So it's been really rewarding for me and really fun. Now I'm just going in with leather conditioner and just giving it a little generous little massage, getting that product worked in to the leather to make sure that it is nice and conditioned and moisturized. Conditioner is so important for leather because it is essentially skin. So it's important to just make sure that it is not dry because dry leather can lead to cracking and rips and tears, and conditioning just helps revitalize the leather and keep it nice and soft and supple as well, just like the skin on our bodies. So it's really important to massage it in and work it into that leather. And I always say it's so funny that I spend so much time moisturizing and massaging in conditioner to leather because I'm so bad at moisturizing my own skin. But I think it's the gloves. I think I need to maybe put gloves on to moisturize my body because I just don't like the feeling of moisturizer or conditioner on my hands. So something new that you can learn about me today. But yeah, look at that shine. Look at that difference already. And at the beginning, the conditioner kind of sits on the top. So you think, oh, maybe it's too much. But if you keep just moisturizing and massaging that product in, it will eventually soak in. And just look at that difference, that shine. You can see the softness of the leather through the screen. And it's just so nice to the touch when you feel it after. The difference is crazy. This is the amount of product that I use. And I always just like to use gloves because, like I said, I don't like the feeling of conditioner on my hands. but you can definitely just do it with bare hands because this product in particular is tested to be skin safe. But I still just prefer to use gloves and have the product in the bag rather than my hands. So it's totally up to you, personal preference. I love this bag so much. It fits a lot. And for some reason, I've been really into bags that don't have a zipper top because it's so easy to just throw things in. So more like a tote bag, bucket bag, and even bags that do have zippers. I've noticed that I just kind of wear with them all open so I can just throw things in and out of it and grab things from it really easily. So I've been really, really loving this bag. I bought it in red and mahogany as well, which are my other favorite colors in vintage Coach. I love a good black, I love red, and I love the mahogany shade. It is just so pretty and easy to wear, and it's kind of like a neutral. I wear mostly black clothes, so the red does pop a bit, and then mahogany is like just this gorgeous deep brown color. So it is kind of easy to blend in and wear with my clothes and kind of have it match. And I did buy some boots that are the same color, so I love matching my shoes to my bag as well. But I just love dressing up based on the bag that I pick for the day, and the Lula Legacy is definitely one of my favorites. Then I will clean up my area once again and stuff the bag so that it can keep its shape. So I just use acid-free paper, just any paper or wrapping that I've received in other packages. I like to save it all and keep it just to make sure that I'm reusing stuff as much as I can. And then I will close that drawstring and see how it looks, see if it will stand on its own. Then I'll use the horsehair brush to remove that product in those creases, like I said. And as I'm going, just noticing which parts may need a little more conditioner if I missed any areas like I did here. And I will use this as an opportunity to look for any spots that I've missed or any spots that might need a little bit more love, and do it that way so that every part is nice and taken care of and is just looking nice and shiny and soft, and getting those edges once again, because every different angle that you look at the bag, you will notice something that you missed, and that's totally okay. So here I am again, just tightening that bag shut to see the shape and how it is standing, and giving those little drawstring straps another condition thoroughly throughout. One funny thing about the Lula Legacy is this piece here that cinches the drawstring together. I thought it was backwards, so I was like, something's wrong with my bag, but no, that's the design. They have the seam on the front and the smooth part on the back. So if you get one and if you're like me and you get surprised and you think it's upside down, trust me, it's not. But yeah, then I use my horsehair brush to start buffing. And like I said, this is the time to go through and do any of that detail work that you may have missed. So I'm using my thread zapper here to get any of those little strays. Buffing with the horsehair brush is a really important step because it really helps distribute that product really evenly after you've massaged it in. And like I said, it gets some of that excess off so that it's not leaving a sticky residue. And it also just helps smooth out any light surface scratches there might be, or even deeper scratches. You actually can condition and buff it out with a lot of time and a lot of effort. And some vintage Coach restorers say buff until your arm hurts and then keep buffing. So you definitely get more of that shiny, smooth result the more you buff. So this is just kind of your way to work that product in, smooth out the surface, and just get everything nice and even looking. And I have yet to find the buffing do any harm. So I definitely think there's no such thing as too much buffing, but just make sure that you're conditioning between buffing sessions, so that you can make sure that the bag is conditioning as you go and it's staying conditioned. And yeah, look how much better it looks already. So squishy, so soft, even not just after one condition and one buffing session. It is looking absolutely amazing. And so here, because this came without a strap, I'm just measuring the strap distance here in the buckle and determining which strap I can borrow from which bag. And I measured the strap and realized that my Helen's duffel strap is probably the exact size I need, which is funny because they're both bucket bags, and it's kind of perfect because if I want to take one on a vacation or if I want a bucket bag, I can kind of use the strap with whichever bag I want. I'm never going to want to use like both of them at once, obviously. Look how perfectly it fits. Everything is the same color and shade and everything. That's one thing I love about having multiple black bags, is you can just kind of swap out the strap. But honestly, I've seen some people switch out straps of different color bags and it looks really cool as well. I just love a monochromatic look. So yeah, it's got its little borrowed strap. It's looking conditioned and refreshed and ready to go, and I'm just so excited to continue wearing this. It is, like I said, it's definitely become one of my favorites. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful. Thank you so much for supporting what I do here. I absolutely love it. Make sure to check me out on Instagram as well, and I hope you have a wonderful day.